けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね Let's go! ネオンの絡む肌踊る影揺れるステップ流されるままにはにかむ横顔に遠くで響く鼓動探すほど見失い溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね Let's go! 寂しげな言葉をつぶやく唇を音色と混ぜ合わせて消えてく人の波預ける指先に儚く揺れる光溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね失われた声街に飲まれて霞んでいく笑顔遠くになる瞳曖昧な距離さえ甘くてほんの少しでもこの夜に酔わせて溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね
What's up, everyone? Welcome to stream number 9. We're one away from the big 1-0, but until then, it is stream number 9. Thank you for watching again. And today we're deciding to wear a pink jacket today. And since I'm wearing the pink jacket, I decided to make the rest of my room fit my outfit. So we're repping the pink lights, some Sakura over here, even though it's 3 months done being Sakura season, but we're out here with the pink anyways. Let me refresh this chat because I think it has been overwhelmed with the messages. Boom, boom. All right. So yes, like as we do, this will be a 2-hour stream. First hour will be Japanese language related questions, and the second hour will be life in Japan related questions. So any questions you have there, feel free to ask them, but we're going to start with the Japanese language ones. So your questions here. So I will pin the link where you can send your questions in the chat. Pin that. And we also have the QR code on the screen. So feel free to ask your questions. Yeah, Sakura supporter representation in this stream. I like it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Didn't even think about that. But yes, all my lovely members, you guys are known as Sakura supporters. And yeah, we got the Sakura right here. So you guys are supporting this right here. So thank you always. And what is up, Ashikul, if that's roughly how you pronounce your name? I'm good. Thanks for dropping by. And hello, Alpha 69769. That's a lot of 69s suspiciously in your name. And Nasuru, hey, nice to see you. And Deviant, always nice seeing you. Ready to watch from the beginning to the end as always. Appreciate you being out here supporting the whole way through. Really awesome. And yeah, other updates. Uploaded a video maybe about 10 days ago now, like pretty soon after the last stream, how to build wealth in Japan. If you haven't seen already, give it a look. But I feel like, most of you guys probably watch my long form content rather than the stream, so I probably don't really even need to mention it. But yeah, uploaded this video, how to build wealth in Japan, and it's already got 57,000 views in the first 11 days, which is pretty good for me. I think this is like the fastest any video has ever grown. Maybe this one and the permanent resident visa are about the same, growth from the beginning. So yeah, very excited. I honestly didn't think this video would like do that well because it's pretty niche. It's just like, how to build wealth in Japan. But I mean, you guys out here watched it, supporting it, and so it's growing. Hopefully it can reach a wider audience in the future too. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's very exciting. I'm already working on the next video as well. Let me first make it to Japan. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, before you can build wealth here, you should probably move here. Although, if you watch the video, you can also buy Akia, the vacant homes in Japan, even without living there. But, ideally you live here as well. And Blue7973, longtime viewer of my videos, first time catching a live stream. Thank you for checking it out. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, these live streams are pretty different pace from my long form videos. Of course, long form videos, highly edited, fast paced, just like boom, 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 whatever information. These are more like chill streams, just a chance to like actually talk and connect with you guys and hopefully answer any questions you guys have. I can't, of course, get to all the questions all the time, but try to answer as many as I can. Whether it's, I can get to it this stream or next stream or whenever. But yeah, it's just a chance to chill together and hopefully help you guys out if you have any questions. And still in hey, let me try refreshing the inbox now, see if we have any questions here. Okay, looks like we do have some. All right, shall we get started then? Ladies and gentlemen, let me, increase this window size on my screen. So we got a bigger question. So 3 questions. You snuck in 3 here. So maybe I'll try to keep it succinct so, we don't take up too much time. And first of all, Rohit, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, 5 gifted memberships, I should say, right off the bat. Absolutely insane. Just carrying over the train from last time. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, Rohit. You are out here. And thanks to your generous contribution alongside the other Sakura supporters. Also, included 3 new emotes in the chat. So enjoy those as well. And congrats to anyone who just received a membership from Rohit. So 3 questions. So number 1, which activity was the biggest waste of time in your Japanese learning journey? Okay, that's the biggest waste of time. I already know what it is. Okay. What is the biggest waste of time when learning Japanese? This is no doubt thinking that you can just magically immerse your way into fluency. It's not gonna happen. Like, I used to think, because I started studying when I was 18, so I'm already fully an adult, right? But I was young and naive, and I thought if I could just listen to Japanese long enough and like try to understand it, if I just listened long enough, I would eventually start understanding it, right? Because, you know, that's how we learned English. I mean, if English is your first language, like it is mine, that's how we learn English. So that's how it happens. And you just gotta like listen to it, watch anime, you know, in Japanese, and it'll naturally come. But it is just not the case. Like I explained in my Why Duolingo Won't Get You Fluent video, but essentially there's a difference between a child's brain and an adult brain. Like, yes, immersion is very good and exposure is also very good, but an adult brain is just not as flexible as a child's brain anymore. Like, you are not going to get fluent in Japanese by just listening to it passively. I think that's the biggest misconception, and I wasted a lot of time thinking this as well. So instead of actually studying the hard grammar, kanji, vocab that no one wants to do, I just say watched anime or tried to listen to people speak Japanese and thought that was enough. And I wasted like a ton of time that way. And that's why I really try to get you guys to like understand as well. Like, I really try to promote this, that, you know, it's not magic. Unfortunately, I would love it to be magic, but you do have to just put in the hard studying. And then once you have a good foundation of studying, like you have some good grammar, vocab, and kanji behind your back, then yeah, exposure is great because then it just solidifies it. But the whole listening, speaking, reading, it's the most fun part of studying Japanese, but I think it should be seen more as review. Like, you build your base first with kanji, grammar, vocab, and then you review it, solidify it with the listening, reading, speaking. So that's my opinion. So that would be my biggest waste of time when learning Japanese. And what was the highest return activity? I mean, it's just the opposite. Like the hard studying, like studying that grammar, kanji, vocab. I would say even more so, because vocab is endless, like there's tens of thousands of words. So you could say maybe not the highest return per word you're studying, but I'd say grammar. Studying grammar is the highest return, because like I watched a video on, say, te form, and like, okay, I watched it. It was a 10-minute video. Sure, it took some time. That 10-minute video plus extra practice, like you use the te form in literally almost every sentence in Japanese. And instead of trying to like immerse my way to understanding it, which would have been impossible, I'm telling you, I would not have been able to pick it up. I just studied the grammar first, and then when I heard it and was exposed to it over time, then it really solidified in my brain. And it's just like that one grammar lesson was just so high yield. So like, it's not the sexiest answer, but study that grammar, please. Lastly, what was the most difficult stage of learning Japanese, as in how far along time-wise and knowledge-wise? Yeah, honestly, the most difficult stage of learning Japanese is right when you get past beginner. Like, I'd say you start at absolute beginner, and then, you know, you get to beginner, intermediate, advanced, fluent, whatever. When you get past beginner, the problem is that you've already put in a lot of time studying. Like, you've probably put in hundreds of hours studying, but you still can't speak to people in Japanese. And that hurts a lot. I'd say even what was really frustrating to me personally was even after like 2 or even 3 years of studying Japanese, I still was not confident speaking to Japanese people. And I would try to have conversations. Like there's like a Japanese exchange students at my university, and I'd go to language exchanges and listen to conversations. And I was so frustrated that I could only understand like 20 to 30% maybe of what they're saying. I'm like, I've been studying the freaking language for 2 to 3 years, and like I can only understand like a third of what they're saying. Like, that is the hardest stage of learning Japanese, in my opinion, because you've put in the most time, so you have a lot of expectations, but you just need to keep putting in more effort And then you'll finally pass that hurdle of like, okay, I don't understand most of what people are saying. And then you'll start to understand most conversations, and then it'll be super rewarding, and you can start to talk to people more often, and then it'll just snowball in a positive way because you'll just get more exposure, you'll get more used to the language, you'll get more used to speaking it, and it gets so much easier after that. But yeah, the whole, like, I'd say beginner to intermediate stage, 1 to 2 years in, is honestly the hardest part. If you can just stick to your studying and go through that, I think you're golden. Yeah. And Rohit, can't stay today. The F1 race is starting. Can't miss it. No worries. I appreciate you dropping by anyways, just to say hi and drop your support and enjoy the F1 race. And Kavish Jolly, I appreciate you agree if you're talking about what I said. But yeah. And if you have any questions, please try to ask in the Marshmallow because it's easier for me to answer them there. Yeah, I agree. It takes a certain point of proficiency with traditional study methods to fully reap the benefits of immersion. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% Blue. Like, yeah, maybe with languages like French or Spanish that are more similar to Japanese, or sorry, more similar to English. Yeah, like you already know the sentence, the word order, and you know like a lot of the roots of the words because they're pretty much the same as English most of the time, or a lot of the time at least. And then, yeah, you could kind of maybe immerse your way into it. It'd still be beneficial to learn grammar, but it's more doable. But Japanese, like the sentence order is just backwards completely. You got to learn the characters. Even if you try to ignore the characters, like the vocab's very different. You know, the whole way of thinking is different too. It's just so hard to immerse your way into fluency. Yeah. You should aim for N3 before immersion, I reckon. Yeah, 100% agree, no. I mean, it's like, I think it's a gradient. Like, you don't need to say not do any immersion before N3, but in my how to move to Japan video, I specifically say like I recommend N3 before moving to Japan if you can get it, because it just, yeah, once you have an N3 level of content knowledge, then the exposure and the immersion, it just really elevates it so much better, and it just snowballs positively. And Dusty Cat, thank you for the super chat, 200 yen. Let's go. We got the Japanese currency out here. Hope you're doing well in Nagoya and you're settling in even more. Yeah, hope it's all going good. And otsukare, arigatou gozaimasu. Korekara da ze. Yeah, what are the best textbooks to learn Japanese on my own? Yeah, it depends on what you like. Genki, I'd say, is the go-to one. Japanese from zero is even easier to get into, but it, you know, takes longer because they make it very easy to get into. So yeah, whatever suits you. I'll also be making a video on recommendations in general, so stay tuned for that. I experienced that same frustration when I first entered uni, went to a Japanese language exchange at my uni in the first year and study and couldn't get any benefit out of it. Yeah, I know. So tough. Yeah, especially like first year, like you probably like your first year studying Japanese and you're like, okay, like I've put in so many hours of studying and I'm ready to interact and like really like connect with people in their language. And then it's just like, oh my God, you just get so overwhelmed with the speed and number of new vocab and grammar. It's like, oof. Yeah, it's a reality check for sure, but it's something everyone has to go through. And it does get better if you just keep going through it. And it seems like you're continuing through it, so good for you. That's amazing. I came to Japan for a 2-year study program, but came with zero preparation. Definitely immersion is not the answer for all. All school definitely helped me know a lot now, but there are difficulties. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think a lot of people who come to Japan just try to immerse their way through it because it's a lot of effort to prepare and learn Japanese. But I'm glad you went to a school as well in the end and that it's helped you a lot. That's amazing. Yeah, because there are people who come to Japan with no preparation, been here for 10 years. I've spoken to them. They've been here for 10 years and they cannot speak more than basic introductions in Japanese. So it's really just not an automatic thing. Anyways, I will get to the next question. Okay, best way to start studying and best way to relocate to Japan. I mean, you're really just going to have to watch the videos that I've already made on that. So one is how to start learning Japanese from nothing. And another one is how to move to Japan. There you go. I'll just put it in the chat. But just to give you very quick and dirty, hiragana, katakana, best way to start learning. That's where you should start. But yeah, watch my video because then it'll show you how to get started on the grammar, kanji, speaking, listening, whatever. But in general, you want to start with the kanji, vocab, grammar, and then, like I just said, reading, listening should come a little bit later. And best way to relocate, I mean, again, you have to watch the video, but at the end of the day, you're gonna need to likely get a job in Japan. Even if you come as a student, if you would like to stay in Japan long term, you'll need to switch to a job eventually and work here, make a living, and you'll probably be here on a work visa. So yeah, I'd say plan to think about what kind of job you'd be interested in doing in Japan, and whatever job that's going to be, it's probably going to be beneficial for you to learn Japanese. So that's the number one thing you can do to prepare. That's the quick and dirty. And how does the worker visa work? I mean, yeah, watch my video on how to move to Japan for specific details on all the visas. The worker visa, I mentioned in the video, like you just need to get hired by a Japanese company and they'll sponsor you and get the visa for you. And an update as well, like with the work visa, if you're working in the engineering, humanities, etc. visa, like section of the work visa, and your job requires Japanese, you will now need to have JLBT N2 level Japanese. So they're even getting stricter on the Japanese language requirements. So really like study as much as you can before you get here. It'll really open your doors. And best way to move to Japan for more than a year. My goal is to do social media and freelance photography and videography work there. Thanks. Best way to move here for more than a year. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have billions of dollars to spend in a student visa, then yeah, you want to do a work visa. It's difficult to do freelance though, because there's no company that's going to sponsor you. So maybe digital nomad could be an option if you're okay to stay like only 6 months of a year. And maybe if you're very successful with what you do and you have a lot of capital, you can look at the business manager visa, but that requires like almost 200,000 USD now. So yeah, best way might be to get a job and then do your freelance on the side until you can either get PR or just make it so successful that you can get a different visa on its own. And Nora applied for a scholarship to do a master's in Japan. Wish you luck. Yes, good luck. That is very exciting. And is it through MEXT or is it just like vanilla? You applied straight to the university? Either way, that's very exciting. And I would like to hear more about what you want to study as well in Japan. And it's probably in Tokyo, right? Like, I know you're talking about going to Tokyo, but just saying, Osaka is the better city, objectively speaking. So, yeah. So if you do go to university in Osaka, that'd be pretty cool too. And Ethan, bro, what up? Hello. Yeah, my Japanese learning has been great now, 3.5 years in. Right now, last few months of studying abroad in Kyoto. Oh, that's amazing. And first coming here around N3 level has made me grow a lot. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, first of all, congrats on sticking to it for 3.5 years. And amazing that you've been able to do study abroad in Kyoto. And like I said, like I recommend getting N3 before moving to Japan. Maybe you're not like moving here long term, I'm not sure. But yeah, like the study abroad year, like, yeah, it's just like having that solid base behind you and then doing the study abroad, it's just going to elevate it so much. So you're doing it the right way. Good job, Blue. You're on that. And can I apply for university with IGCSE? I'm not sure what that is, unfortunately. If you could maybe elucidate more of the details there. Or if someone in the chat knows, they can help you. And Aika, hello. Nice to see you here again. Been a while. Nice to see you're doing well, hopefully. I guess I can't assume just because you said hello, but hopefully you're Genki. And yes, MEXT. If I make it, I'll be back next year. Awesome. Okay, yes, lots of messages in the chat, and I want to talk to you guys forever, but I also want to get to the questions that people have taken the time to put in the Marshmallow. So, and I just realized I answered a question that's like not even Japanese language related, so you guys have really like tricked me here. Anyways, Japanese language related one. What's the difference between owaru and sumu? Very good question. Yeah, this is so owaru. Yeah, that's a good question. So you can say, so let me switch to my slides out here. So we got sumu. Not that sumu, that's to live. So sumu. So as some of you may know, so both of these mean to end. So you can say, なんだろう、準備が済んでいる。準備が済んでいる。済んでいる。済んでいる。Okay, 準備が済んでいる. Like I am done my preparations. And you can also say 準備が終わっている。終わっている. What the difference would be? If someone in chat knows, I'd love to hear it. But for me, they feel the same. And I would say maybe owaru is probably the more general version. Like it has ended. 準備が終わってる。準備が終わってる。ちょっと待って。準備が終わってる。準備が済んでる。Yeah. It's a very subtle difference. I don't even have confidence giving this answer, but I'm going to give it anyways because that's what we're here for. So I'd say, in my opinion, owaru, yeah, more general version is just they're over. Like junbi ga owateru, like I'm done my preparations. I'm done my preparations. Or you can just say the preparations are done, I guess. Preparations are done. Okay. And it's kind of both. Junbi ga sunderu. Junbi ga sunderu. Junbi ga sunderu. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's casual because I have heard it in business as well, I think. Sundemasu. But it has a bit of a feeling like it's also like someone has done it. Like owateru is kind of just more objectively like it has finished. Like owatta. It's done. The preparations are done. Whereas junbi ga sunderu, it makes it feel like the speaker who said it has just finished it. Like they did it. Junbi ga sunderu. Like I just completed it. That's the nuance in my head. Don't know if it's totally accurate, but I think in general, you're probably safe to just use them interchangeably. Let's see what Nora has to say though. I think sumu is more the end of a task activity rather than owaru, which can be used for tasks, but also general concepts like winter or a movie. I like that. Yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah. I like Nora's answer that. So let's write this down here. And that also lines up with what like my feeling was with why they're used slightly differently in that sense. So this is for tasks. Let's see what Nora wrote down since she is also a Japanese pro N1 holder. So tasks, activities. And this is why she's a mod out here, guys. She's a pro. And then just general. Yeah, so that makes sense. So task activities. So that's why I said it felt like the speaker has done it. Like junbi ga sunderu, like I just finished the preparations. Whereas if you're just talking about, say, like what Nora said, a movie or like the season winter has ended, you know, that's not something you do, right? So you can't say like huyu winter, huyu ga sunderu. Like it's that. I don't think you could say that. It's more like huyu ga owatteiru. It's over. Winter is over or the movie's over. So yeah, I think, yeah, what Nora said, I like that a lot. Task activities versus general, and also just a feeling of speaker has completed it. I don't even think it necessarily has to be the speaker who does it, but it feels like close to the speaker, or maybe their friends or their colleagues, whatever, like someone has done it essentially. Yeah. Thanks for the support out here, Nora. And Nubis, good to see you out here and using the new emotes. You asked, I think you're the one who asked for the wave emote. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I put it in there. So hopefully you're enjoying it. And Ethan Pro says Ed Excel curriculum, by the way. Yeah, I'm not an, okay, IGCSE, International General Certificate of Secondary Education, globally recognized. Yeah, I'm not sure, unfortunately. You're going to have to maybe ask a pro. high school examination for grade 12 students. Yeah, you're gonna have to probably Google that one because I really am not familiar on that one. So it's done versus finished. Done versus finished. Nah, winter is done. Winter is finished. Yeah, I mean, I would probably avoid thinking about it in English terms because they're probably just uniquely Japanese. So yeah, if you can, just try to think of it as we just explained it here, that one's for task activities, one's for general and in general. And I'm not sure if there's a good English equivalent in that sense. And Neo on a plane heading back from a Pokemon tournament, but just wanted to pop in. Well, thanks for joining in from the plane and blessing up the chat with 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for your generosity on the freaking road or in the sky, you know, whichever it's going to be soon. Thank you so much. I appreciate your crazy support all the time, consistently out here, even, you know, when you're literally on a plane. But yeah, thanks so much. And hope the Pokemon tournament went well. Yeah, heading back, so you just finished it. Hope it went well, and hope you're smoking some scrubs just like you do in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, let us know how it goes. And the new wave emote, got it out here. Like it, like it. And what kind of camera and lens do you have? I have a Sony A7C, and the lens is a 220 millimeter wide angle, so you guys can see what's up. All right, let me get to the next question. And Nora, I just realized I can't automatically use emotes as a mod. Haha. Yeah, I guess they separate mods from members, so you'll just have to try to get blessed up by someone at some points. Didn't catch the Neo 20 gifted, unfortunately, but I'm sure it'll come around for you. I played in side events and won 4 booster boxes of Destined Rivals. Booster boxes sounds pretty huge. Hopefully you pull something good from it. And Yu-Gi-Oh! 6 out of regional is pretty goated. That's insane. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Let's keep smoking those scrubs, Neo. I love to hear it. All right, let's get to the next question before I am super off track. So I did see this one in the chat earlier. So what are the best textbooks to learn Japanese on my own? Yeah. So what are the best textbooks to learn Japanese on your own? At the end of the day, it's just preference. Like, I would say Genki 1 and 2 are the classic and probably what I would recommend if I had to give just a straight up answer. And Genki 1 and 2 will take you up to N4 level. If you would like an easier, you want your hand held all the way through, especially from the beginning, Japanese from Zero is just as simple you can get from the very beginning. Like, they will ease your way into it from hiragana. Like, this is a good or bad thing depending on your study type, but because they ease your way into hiragana, they'll add like 5 new kana every, you know, few pages or so. So they'll write in hiragana the kana that you should already know, and then for the rest they'll write romaji, so it just in English letters. So you'll see a weird mix of like hiragana and English letters, which, you know, helps ease you into it because you don't need to learn all the hiragana right away. But it's also a little bit jarring, and it's not good practice because, you know, Japanese English letter mix is just really unnatural, and you'd never see it anywhere else other than maybe like gamer tags or something like that. But yeah, if you'd really like your hand held from the beginning, then yeah, that's a good book. I've also heard it's a little bit slow because they're holding your hand through it, so it's, you know, give and take. What's your study style, right? And then there's a bunch of other textbooks. Like, I could go on forever like listing them, but if I had to just give you a straight up answer, try out Genki. If you don't like it, I'm making a video soon on my recommendations for textbooks as well as just how to self-study in general. So yeah, check it out. And there may or may not be a free PDF online for Genki. So you didn't hear it from me, but there might just be a PDF somewhere around there if you look for it. All right. We both know I don't have that luck. One day, Nora, one day you'll get blessed up. And Ethan is learning with Minna no Nihongo. Yeah. Yeah, that's a popular one as well. Hopefully you're enjoying that one. And Aika uses Takem's Guide to Japanese Grammar and Thinking of Minna no Nihongo. So maybe, yeah, Ethan, maybe let Aika know, and whoever asked this question as well, what you think of Minna no Nihongo. I think I checked it out briefly. I have in my notes what I thought of it. It might take a little while to pull them up, so I won't pull them up here. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just preference. Like, you could probably do like a chapter, just one chapter. And the good thing about these textbooks is that they'll usually have free versions online for at least the first chapter or two. So you can just try it out, you know, see if it works for you. Because, you know, textbooks, you think, oh, textbook's a textbook, but everyone teaches differently. And some textbooks I think are better than others, maybe objectively, but also just what works for you. You know, maybe the way they explain it, or their example sentences, or maybe they have auxiliary audio you can listen to for the sentences, and you're a very like audio listening person. So yeah, I would say if you're thinking about trying out a textbook, definitely look into the free samples online, because they're there to try it. And then if you like the first one or two chapters, you'll probably like the textbook, right? And Takem's Guide as well. Yeah, that's also a really good shout. Takem's Guide to Grammar, I think, is just fantastic. Free resource online. Well, I guess it could be, I guess it's considered a textbook, but yeah, it's specifically just for grammar. They might have other things on the site as well, but yeah, the grammar is just fantastic, and they just explain it so well. It'll take you to like N4, N3-ish with grammar, and then you can just self-study from there, essentially. Just really, really well explained. All right, we can move on to the next question then. We still got half an hour for our Japanese language questions. So let's see what our next one is. Okay. I'm sorry, I just closed the window here. Okay. Do you think it's important to learn teinego as a base in order to be polite at the risk of sounding stiff in casual conversations, or can foreigners get away with sounding more chill? It used to be more polite. Important to learn the base in order to be polite at the risk of sounding. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. So I think you're asking, like, when you speak Japanese, should you default to the polite language or default to the casual language? Are people gonna get upset at you because you're using the casual language, or should you risk sounding really stiff using the polite language? And it depends. It depends on the situation. Like, I would say in general, default to the polite language. Like, if you see someone on the street, or you're talking to the cash register person, what do you call that? The teinsan, you know what I'm saying? If you're talking to the person at the cash register, use teinego. Just in general, strangers, people you just meet, staff, I don't know, coworkers, your boss, teinego, all polite. Okay. The only time I would say you can default to casual is if it's very setting based, and it depends on the person too. For me, it's like, I just went to a meetup event yesterday, and it's just like, you just go out, meet people, mix of Japanese people and English speaking people, or foreigners in general, not just English speaking. And, you know, it's at night, you're just having drinks, and you're just like, you're free to roam around and talk to people. It's just a really relaxed environment. I almost never use polite language there, because it just, yeah, it feels kind of stiff, like you're saying. I'll just be like, ooh, Tokuyuu desu. I guess I'll say Tokuyuu desu, but like, that's about it. That's about all the teinego I'll use. And then I'll be like, oh, nani shiteru? Oh, nani hanashiteru? Like, what are you talking about? And then, yeah. And I've never gotten upset at doing that. And like you said, I think foreigners can be a little bit more forgiven for using more casual language versus polite, especially in those kind of settings, because, you know, Japanese people know that foreigners are more open and like friendly and talking, and they don't necessarily have polite language in their language, so you can get away with it. But in general, try to use polite language to strangers and people you've just met, at least, you know, in the beginning, to show that you respect them and you kind of understand the Japanese culture. Like, yes, we have our gaijin card that we can use and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know I'm a foreigner. But if you're here long enough, then, you know, we shouldn't just have to rely on our magical gaijin card, and like respect the culture and Be like, okay, yes, I understand that I should actually be speaking politely here. So yeah, it's good to, you know, do your best to behave similarly to what a Japanese person would do. But yeah, I think there's a little bit more leeway to be more casual and friendly as well. And then at the end of the day, it's also what your intentions are. Like if you're trying to be, you know, just fun and friendly, and so you use casual, that's probably going to be more forgiven than you're just trying to like be like, your rules don't apply to me, I'm just using casual right off the bat, you know? So it's about intention as well. Good question though. It's one I think about as well. And I also talked to like my barber as well, because I was like, you know, like do you use casual or polite when you talk to people who are younger than you that you don't know? He's like, oh, I'll use polite. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, really? You use polite for people who are younger than you who you don't know? It seems kind of strange, but yeah, it's also up to the person. And Benji West, thank you for tuning in from Kyushu. I know you're on your RV trip. I hope the trip goes well, and I know you're streaming out here. So if you guys are craving some more streams once this one's done, feel free to check out Benji West, because he'll be doing a whole RV trip in Kyushu, which is the southern island in Japan. So that'll be pretty exciting. He'll be streaming every day for at least a few days. So it's gonna be very exciting. And Kaushi, if that's how you, or Kausi, if that's how you pronounce it. Hey, what is up? Thanks for dropping by. I think for learning the language, it's easier to start out with the casual form, but in reality, you need teinego a lot. Yeah, 100%. I think Nora and I like talked about this before, but if we're talking about casual or polite in terms of learning the language, definitely start with learning casual. That's what I recommend. Some textbooks will force polite onto you, and a lot of Japanese classes will force polite onto you in the beginning because they want you to be polite. And yeah, fair, you'll probably use it more often, but it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like conjugation wise, going from polite to casual, it kind of works, but then when you want to conjugate beyond that, like everything comes from casual. Like you start with casual, and then you make casual like the stem form, or you make casual the te form, or you make casual the polite form. You know, starting from polite, you have to go to casual and then go to the next one to conjugate. It just doesn't really make sense. So yeah, I definitely recommend starting off with casual to begin with for learning. But yeah, like Nora said, you'll probably use teinego, the polite version, more often. And it's pronounced koshi. Koshi, very, very nice. Yes, thank you for letting me know. I always struggle just trying to read names in text and try to pronounce it properly. So I appreciate it, Koshi. And I appreciate the hiragana, because hiragana is just so nice that it's like phonetic, right? Koshi. So Koshi, 0 to N3 possible in 6 months. It is possible, but you're going to have to grind. You will have to grind. No funny business, no Duolingo. If you have it on your phone, delete that shit. You're going to have to be grinding out your kanji, vocab, grammar. And then once you have that up to like an N4-ish level, you start doing your reading, listening, boom, boom. And yeah, I'd be studying at least 2 hours a day. IMO. All right, let's try to get to our next Japanese language related question. I've been trying to learn hiragana and katakana for a few weeks, and they seem to be going smoothly. That's great. But with kanji, I'm not quite understanding it. There are multiple ways of saying the correct kanji sounds. Should I learn one of them first or try to do them all? Yes. So I get this question a lot. And by a lot, I mean, I think I got it 2 streams ago. So yes. So, excuse me. So kanji have multiple readings. When you learn them, should you learn the main reading only, or should you learn all the readings? The key here is, say you're N4 level and you're learning an N4 level kanji. If you're looking at that kanji, I always recommend you learn a kanji with the associated vocab. Okay, so common words that use that vocab. So let me try to find an example. Kanji list. So say you're N4. Let me make this a nice big screen for y'all. And what's a good example? maybe some that have some weirder readings. Weird readings out here. Kaze probably has a weird reading. Fu. Yeah. Fu. Just a single fu. That's kind of weird. Okay, so say you're N4 and you're learning kaze, wind. So if we look at the common readings here, let me make this even bigger. Nice and clear for y'all. Okay, so we have the kuyomi, the Japanese reading. Of course, there's kaze, wind. And it can also be sometimes pronounced kaza. And onyomi, the Chinese reading, you have fu or fu, long or short. So I'll just tell you right now. So kaze is obviously the main reading. So you're going to want to know that. It's wind. You're going to need to know the word for wind. And fu, like with the long vowel, is the more common reading. Okay, so when you're learning the kanji, you want to look at the common words. So let's go to the common words here, okay? So, of course, we have kaze, just wind, straight up. Let's see, yeah, down here, we have kaze. All right, and this is a little trick for kanshido, but this box, this blue box with the number, it tells you what JLPT level that vocab is. Okay, so kaze, wind, 5. It's an N5 level vocab. You should know it. So since you should know this vocab, you should know this reading, kaze. Okay, we're good. Now, okay, let's say go to taifu. What does this mean? Typhoon, okay? Or hurricane. 4, okay, N4. Okay, I'm N4, and typhoon is an N4 level vocab. I should learn it. So since I should know this vocab, I should know this reading. Fu, long fu. All right, what else do we have here? Fu. So just the short fu. All right, let's see. Folding screen. Byob. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've never heard that word in my freaking life. Byob. What the hell is that? Folding screen? We can look that up later. But anyways, you'll see there's not even a blue box here. Like, it's not even N1. Like, it's N0 native. Maybe even a native person doesn't know it. Maybe they know it. I don't know. But don't know this word. There's no point knowing it. So since there's no point knowing this word, don't worry about the reading fu. All right, forget about it. If you need to know it later on, you can learn it later on. All right, and the last one was kaza. All right, so what do we have here? Kaza. We have pinwheel or windmill toy, kazaguruma. And as you can see,
kazaguruma.
I just played the audio. Can you hear that, by the way? I think I made it so you guys can hear it. But anyways, 1. So JLPT N1. Don't need to know it. If you're N4, don't learn it. So don't worry about kaza as the reading, okay? So we're N4, learning N4 kanji. So it has these 4 different readings. Kaze, kaza. Oh, I just pressed the weird button. Kaze, kaza, hu. But as we learn, kaze, only kaze and fu have a common vocab for N4 or lower. So those are the only ones I recommend you learn. Okay? Okay, we good? Okay, learn kanji with the vocab. They're very good to learn together. Don't do them separately, in my opinion. Don't do them separately. And then use the vocab to judge whether or not you should learn a reading for a kanji. And you can hear it. Yeah, thanks for letting me know, Neospatian. Is your plane not taking off yet? Hopefully they're not being like, please turn your phone to airplane mode. And Neospatian's like the homie out here just like watching the stream to the last second possible. And hopefully the plane doesn't explode because of that. But yeah, glad to hear you guys can hear the audio. I did try to play it last time and it wasn't playing properly. So I messed around with the settings and glad you can hear them. And let's see. Hey, yo, my goat went live. Christian, yes. Thank you. I am live every other Sunday. So every 2 weeks I'll be around to answer any Japanese language or life in Japan related questions. And I like using Kanshido for kanji. Aika, you know. Great minds think alike. Yeah, Kanshido honestly is probably one of the best kanji resources. Free online kanji resources. Again, I mentioned last stream, I really recommend Kanji Study app. Fantastic app. Only problem is you do have to pay for it to go beyond N5, and it's only for Android. So that's the limitation. So if you don't have an Android or you don't have, I think it's like $10 to $20, totally worth it. But if you just can't afford that money, Kanshido, great alternative, web, and all the stuff is there. And Nubis, what I do is learning the most common readings and what the character means and using an Anki deck without furigana, then you're gonna pick up the meanings automatically. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, you just have your vocab in the Anki deck with the kanji that you should know without the reading. And yeah, because like I said, like you should really learn kanji and vocab together. So because you're learning that vocab, you're forced to be like, okay, this is the vocab. And so you're reading the kanji at the same time because you're remembering what the vocab is. Say if it's like, well, taifu, and you're like, okay, taifu. Oh, the second character is this kaze one and it's pronounced hu. So you'll just slowly pick it up. That's great. Yeah, love that. Great input. And I know it's the foldable painted screens. I was thinking that too. I was like, is that the word for them? Byobu. Like those ones that are like artistic and like kind of in like old style houses. Byobu. Yeah, those are the ones. I didn't know the word for that. Byobu. God, if I saw these characters, I would never have guessed in a million years that it's pronounced Byobu. But yeah, they're very pretty. I would like one in my future dream home. I would like a Byobu. I have plane Wi-Fi. Nice. So you're not crashing the plane. Plane Wi-Fi. I'm surprised you can watch the stream so well with the plane Wi-Fi, because my plane Wi-Fi is always dookie. You got that good stuff. And Almo, are you half? I am half. I'm mixed, but not Japanese. And I only spoke English growing up. So that's where we're at. And let me get to the next question. Still have 15 minutes for our Japanese language questions. So I'll try to get to a few more. And Tokuyuu sensei, Nono desu. Nice seeing you, Nono. Konnichiwa. I finished all my hiragana and can recognize them all in under a second. That's really quick. Seems like you got them down pat. But after 2 days of studying katakana, I still can't get them to stick. Do you have any tips? For reference, it only took me 2 days to fully learn hiragana. Interesting. I'm surprised that the katakana is taking you longer, because usually learning the hiragana first is more challenging because it's the first set of characters that you're learning. And then katakana, you already have practice learning characters. Excuse me. Not to mention that they overlap with hiragana a lot of times, like the ka or the he is very similar. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you're just gonna have to keep studying them. Maybe what's happening is that it's kind of, they're maybe fighting in your brain a little bit. Like when you see a letter or kana. So let's go to, hiragana and katakana chart. So probably what's happened, since you've already learned hiragana. So say you try to think of the word ma. So you probably know, it might be a little small on the screen here. Let me try to open this image in new tab. I think we'll make it bigger. Yes. Oh, that's really big. Okay, you probably not gonna make it that big for you guys. I can't even see it. So ma. So you probably learned this one on the left here, ma, because it's the hiragana. So probably what's happening, since you picked up the hiragana so quickly, but you're struggling with the katakana, is when you think of ma, your memory of the hiragana ma is probably blocking you from learning the katakana one. You'll think of, okay, what is ma? And you'll think of the hiragana one. You'll be like, oh, no, that's not the one I want. What is it? I learned it. But since you're more familiar with the hiragana already, it's kind of like out competing your memory for the katakana ma. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just exposure. You're gonna have to, maybe it will take some more time, even if it feels like concerning that it's taking longer than hiragana. Yeah, you're just kind of like stacking on a second alphabet on top of the letters you already know. So just get more comfortable reading it, and it will come to you. Just do your tests. If you studied it, that's great. Like, do tests like, hey, what is katakana ma? And if you can't think of it, just restudy it. Study them, and it'll come to you. I mean, I'm sorry I can't give you a fantastic like cure for your struggle with katakana, but at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to repeat them, and I wouldn't feel too worried if it's taking you longer. The fact that you learned hiragana in 2 days is fantastic. Like, keep that up. But yeah, just be patient with it. Usually it takes people a couple weeks to learn hiragana, and then another couple weeks to learn katakana. So you're already on a fantastic pace. So I really wouldn't worry about it. Just keep it up. Yeah. Ah, yes, and Big Stepper Sahil, if that's how you pronounce it. Japanese Pod 101 has a very helpful video on katakana. That's also a very good point. Yes, Japanese Pod 101 has a great video on hiragana and katakana. And the good thing about it is that they introduce all the katakana, in your case. They introduce all the katakana with mnemonics, right? So they'll help, if you're really struggling to remember them, they'll help associate each one with the sound based on how they look. So, I mean, I don't know what an example here is that they have. Ha. I mean, what would be a good mnemonic? Ka is easy because it just like looks like the hiragana ka. But essentially, like, say, like if you look at the I don't freaking know, the ooh, it kind of looks like, say, maybe it looks like a candle. Like it looks like a candle wick with like a little thing at the top there, and then ooh, and then you say ooh, it's a candle or something like that. They have much better mnemonics, but it'll help you if you're really struggling with them. So that's a good shout. Not my best mnemonic, but not always easy to make them on the fly. I was studying for 7 hours and got up to he and literally cried because it was the same and it saved me so much time. Yeah, 100%. Feels good, right? Yeah, it's just literally exact same. I wonder if it's the exact same, or it's technically sharper for the katakana because they tend to be like sharper corners, but it really does look just the same. But I think they type slightly differently. You know, like let me just type in the chat right now. So this hiragana he, and that's katakana he. Does that look different? I feel like the katakana one on the right looks maybe a bit sharper. I don't know. But yeah, they're the same. Yeah. And Olfi, katakana didn't stick for me either until I just passively reinforced them by encountering more words in them. Yeah, that's fair. I think most people are usually more comfortable with hiragana because it's the first one they learn. And then yeah, katakana, you just have to study again and then get more exposure as well. And yeah, learning katakana words, like the loan words, will help reinforce them for sure. And Aika says, write all the katakana randomly on a piece of paper, point out a random katakana character and read it in under 5 seconds or less. Yeah, definitely. I like writing out characters as well to help me remember them. So yeah, you can try writing them. Lots of good advice for you, Mr. Nono. All right, let's get to the next one. Got a few minutes left of our Japanese language ones. Okay, so for very beginner Japanese, do you have any kids show series or YouTube video series you could recommend? Sort of like content that is very basic to start digesting Japanese. I do. So I actually mentioned this either one or I think maybe even last stream, but it's Japanese with Shun. Like there's a lot of them. Japanese with Shun. I think he even has one that's like N6, you know, like N5 is the most basic. Yeah, here we go. N6 to N5. So very slow.
Just you.
Very basic Japanese. All right.
日本語教師のシュンです。日本語教師のシュンと
ケンです。
よろしくお願いします。
Yeah. So there's probably going to be some words there that you don't know, like, so you probably maybe know Nihongo, but Kyoshi might be a little bit like above your level because that's probably like an N4, N3. It means like teacher. Because you don't say sensei about yourself because sensei has a feeling of respect involved in it. So when you're referring to yourself as a teacher, you say Kyoshi. So Nihongo Kyoshi no Shun. That's his name, Shun. So he's a Japanese teacher. He's introducing himself. So, but it's still good practice because it's very slow and they have, I think he has even easier ones as well that you can follow. So very good. And there's a ton as well. There's like Japanese, I can't even name them all, but probably when you start watching them, they'll come up in your recommendations. There's a lot of slow and easy ones. And then there's also a really good website called Natively. Do you want books or shows? I can't remember what you said. Kids shows series. Okay, so you want kids shows. So if you go to Natively Japanese, here. so Natively is a great website that you can So if you're looking for Japanese content at your level, because you can't watch anime because like freaking like, if you're just starting out, you're not going to understand Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't even understand Jujutsu Kaisen in English. Definitely not going to understand it in Japanese. Great website is Natively, because you can sort the level that you want based on your JLPT level. So say if you're just starting out and 5 and 4, go to your level here, beginner, and 5. I think these are books. So if we go to browse video. Okay, video. This should be right. Okay, so then N5. There's not going to be a lot because let's be honest, like these shows are Japanese shows, right? They're meant for Japanese people, and even kids have a decent understanding of Japanese. Like their vocab isn't very, extensive. Their kanji isn't very extensive, but they can like speak basic phrases. So even like a lot of basic anime is not gonna be easy enough for if you're like at N5. So honestly, I'd probably recommend you getting to N4 first before you try to watch any kind of Japanese shows. But if you want to try to like dip your toes into it and you're just doing it for fun as well, then yeah, use Natively and you can sort it by level. I mean, there's only like 5 here. But like as you go up in the levels, you'll get more because like say N4 already has like a ton because you're actually at a level where like maybe you're closer to a kid's level. And the great thing is you can like go to it, say we have My Neighbor Totoro, the classic, and they have ratings not only for the entertainment, but also for the language learning, value, you could say. So you have these reviews from other people who watched it for Japanese, and they'll say like, hey, this was helpful for me for this reason, or it wasn't very helpful for this reason. Oh, like it's a kids show, but they talk about like witchcraft, so it wasn't very good for me. And it can help you like narrow down your search. So Natively, very good website. Yeah, but yeah, in general, I'd probably get to at least N4, N3 level before you start looking at like actually native level content. But it's good that you are looking for content that's like more easy, like at your level, because you really should not be watching whatever anime you feel like when you're at N4 or N5. Like if you're watching even like Oshinoko or like Kimetsu no Yaiba when you're N4, like bruh, you're gonna understand like 5% of what's being said. So yeah, my recommendations. Peppa Pig Japanese, Bluey Japanese, folktale stories for Japanese kids. Thank you, Aika, for dropping your recommendations. Peppa Pig. You think Peppa Pig would be good for even N5? Do you think it's easy enough? But I have heard of it. I haven't watched it myself, but I know it's a kids show. I haven't heard of Bluey Japanese though. And Koshi, I remember it as elevator. True. Yeah, the katakana it. You could probably like make it look like an elevator a little bit with like the line, and it's almost like a box-ish. And then it's it as an elevator. Elevator. Yeah.複雑すぎるアニメを見て単語を覚えて複雑すぎるアニメを見て単語を覚えてポッドキャストを聞いておしまい。まあ単純だけどね。単純、わかりやすいけどね。But like just watching a really complicated anime, memorizing the vocab, and then watching a really complicated anime, remembering the vocab, and reading podcasts. I mean, it's exposure at the end of the day. It's not gonna hurt you, but it's gonna be tough. Like you're gonna be looking up a lot of words all the time, and you're not really gonna be enjoying watching your show because you're gonna be reading a dictionary 90% of the time and watching a show 10% of the time, if you're lucky. Like it's not. I mean, if you can enjoy it and like grind through it, sure, that's a way to do it. But it'll be a lot of looking up, and it's not gonna be super enjoyable for most people. And you did hear Demon Slayer. No. Good job, because I only said Kimetsu no Yaiba. I only said the Japanese version, so you picked it up. Good job. And yeah, Peppa Pig Japanese for at least intermediate N5 is good, but for folktales for Japanese kids, good for N5 in general. That's good to know. I didn't know folktales. I haven't heard of that one before, so I'll have to look into more folktales for Japanese kids. That'd be a good shout. Maybe there's a resource I always recommend. Todoku graded readers, I think. Maybe it's Todoku, something like that. But I think they might also have kind of like folk tales as well, and they have like free stories for every level of JLPT. So maybe that's like kind of the overlap there. Maybe I have seen a couple of them, but good shout. And it is 10 p.m. We are at the halfway mark, so we are going to be switching to life in Japan related questions. So yeah, as always, I mean, just as we've been doing, feel free to put your questions in the pinned comment or the QR code on the screen, and let's get started on life in Japan related questions. Let me also just refresh my inbox and take a swig of water while we're at it. Okay. How do you type on your computer? On the phone, it's easy because you can change your keyboard layout to anything, but how do you manage it on your computer? Yeah, I mean, it depends if you have a Windows or Mac. I'm not sure how Mac works. I've never really used a Mac in my life, but I wish I could show you specifically, but my screen share, do I? No, I have the bottom of my screen share cut out because like I don't, like it's usually I don't need to show you like my Windows bar, but let's see. So it's called Japanese IME keyboard. So if you just go to Japanese IME, I think what you do is you just go to your system settings and then you look up, Japanese keyboard, and you can download it. And then what you do is it's very easy. You just shift caps, you switch back and forth, and that's what it is. Let me just show you an example here. So right now, oops, and probably in English. Yep. So typing in English, and then I just hit shift caps, and now Nihongo de入力してるよ, and that's it. And then you can do shift caps, and then we're back to English. And then how it works for like selecting kanji is like, so you type in Nihongo, just like with like English letters on your keyboard, and then it'll like, it doesn't show the dialog box for you guys, it's just for me, because I'm sharing like my window itself, and probably the Japanese keyboard is just like an application on top of that, so you can't see it. But on my screen, I have a window select screen, and I can press spacebar to go through whichever ones I want. So then there's katakana, the kanji. There's not a lot because it's Nihongo, but say if I had one that's like kaki, so I just type in hiragana, one space, it'll give you like the most popular results first. So kaki as in to write, hit it again, kaki, so like the below written thing. And again, okay, it's summer, and then now it's like persimmon, or now it's like oyster, and you can just like, you press space to go through them. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And that's how that works. There you go. Now you can use the Japanese keyboard. Budding. All right. Tadoku reading levels. Yeah, it is Tadoku. Yeah, not Todoku, but Tadoku. Thank you. Tadoku graded readers. Thank you. No, I'm trying to buy membership, but I'm having problems with my cards. Maybe tomorrow. No worries. If you're having troubles with your card, then there's nothing much you can do. Hopefully you can buy other things though. Hopefully you can buy your groceries or whatever you need to. But no worries. And very boring name. Thanks for dropping by. How quickly can you type in Japanese? I don't know. As quickly as I can think. Like my typing is not slower than my thinking. So how fast I can type is just dependent on like how quickly I think. Sometimes if I want to type in like, say like, yeah, kaki, and like I want to say, I don't know, say this one, and like a rare one, it kind of is annoying that you have to hit space like 6 times. Okay, now it's that one. So that's sometimes a little bit inconvenient, but for the most part it's okay. The worst is when it just doesn't come up though. If it's like someone's name, if you just say like I don't even know, Momoka, just like random name, but it has like unique kanji, and you're just like going through it and you're like, it's not here. This one with a freaking peach emoji for Momo, since Momo is peach in Japanese. So I don't think that's the kanji for her name. And just like going through it and you're like, is it here? No, okay, it's not here. Now I have to like type it. Okay, it's hyaku. And then it's like nengajo, okay, nengajo. Okay, it's that one, momoka. And it's like, oh, okay, I just spent like freaking 30 seconds writing out like one word. That is annoying. For sure. That's the worst part about typing in Japanese. But what you gotta do, I guess. All right, then let's move on to our next question. And I have a question about the mech scholarship. Is it worth it? I mean, I've never done it, so I can't tell you personally, but Mext is a full tuition, full cost of living covered. So I'd say it's totally worth it if you get it. But it's also very competitive. So yeah. If you have the time to put in the application and you think you can make a strong application, I'd say it's worth it, because it is a lot of money that they'll give you for sure. And Shy Joker, thanks for the gifted membership. Appreciate it. And congrats to Andrew Co7 for receiving the generous membership from Shy Joker. Appreciate your support. Getting closer to our next emote. And if you guys ever have like emotes that you want to add to the chat, then let me know, and I can try to find it. I like to pick out like expressions I've had from previous videos. So if you have like an expression that you'd like in the chat, then let me know, and I'll try to find a good point in one of my videos that I can like take a screenshot from. Interesting question. So what is the average N level of a Japanese native? So like N5 or N1, etc. Obviously it's not N5. And what is enough N for a non-native person to speak fluently or almost fluently? Right. Okay, so good question. So you have your JLPT, Japanese language proficiency test, and 5 levels, N5 the most basic, all the way up to N1. And it's for non-Japanese natives. So I'd say around N3 is when you start to become N3 is when you start to become conversational. That's what I would say. You're not going to be fluent or fully confident at N3, but conversational. And it's a good base that once you start immersing and doing more conversations, you'll really start to pick up on your language, because you've built enough of a base that now you have the framework to start picking up new words, new slang. You can catch things better because you start to hear the patterns more. N3 is I'd say the turning point. The start of the turning point. You still won't be totally comfortable most of the time, but it's the start of the turning point. Then N2 and N1 is where I'd say you start to become more fluent. Like you have greater content knowledge, a lot more vocab behind you. You have a lot more listening and speaking practice as well, probably as you're going up the levels. So that's where I would say you're more fluent. And the fun/funny thing is that at N1 you need to know like 2,000 kanji, like around 10,000 words and maybe 300 grammar points. Maybe it's actually like 1,000 grammar points. And then for N3, you need to know about 1/3 of all of that. Just 1/3 of the content. So it's kind of funny. You can only know 1/3 of the content for N1, but you're still conversational. And that's because the third of content you know at N3 is the most commonly used. Like you'll know all the basic grammar, all the basic words like food, eat, go, shopping mall, play. Like knowing these like basic words, you can form like 80% of sentences. And even for like the 20% you don't know, if you're more confident, if you're like more comfortable with your speaking, you can kind of just fudge it. Like you can say like, instead of saying the like thesis that I wrote, because you don't know the word for thesis, you can say like nanka kaita mono, like the thing I wrote. Like you can kind of like get around it, so you can still be functionally conversational at N3, even with significantly less content knowledge, which is very nice. And what I would say the average Japanese person is in terms of N level, So we got N5, N4, N3, N2, N1, and then a Japanese native is just off the scale. Like, it's not comparable. Like, I used to think that N1 was native. Not the case. Not the case. Very good proficiency. Don't get it wrong. You're usually fluent and you have solid proficiency, but then there's like native level. Say if you know 10,000 words is N1, native probably knows like 30,000. Like, probably not using a lot of those words, but they understand them. And then of course there's a lot of slang, there's a lot of cultural knowledge, there's just years and years more of practice speaking and listening to it. So yeah, if I had to give them a level, they're N0, you know. But it's just a never-ending journey. I mentioned this probably in my last stream, I think, that even though I'm N1 and, you know, sure, so it'd be nice to be like complete Japanese and like I'm perfect, like I am a native Japanese speaker now. But you know, it's also fun to always be able to get better. You know, that's what language is. It's a never-ending journey, and I will probably never be like a perfect native level, but I can always work towards getting closer to it, you know, closer to that N0 level. So yeah, that's my answer for you. Boom boom. N1 is too not close to a native. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it depends what you say. Like if you compare it to N4, or like if you compare it to like N5 and stuff, then yeah, it's like closer to a native, but it's not native level whatsoever. But very high proficiency, and then it's just a matter of using the language more and getting used to it. That's what it is. Just the years of practice and exposure. And when it comes to studying in Japanese, like biochem, etc., like at a university, and Rip Rover, nice to see you, by the way. Is it good to be N2 or do I have to be N1? Yeah, I mean, you could probably try from N2, but I would probably recommend N1 because, yeah, if you're like learning biochem, like that's going to be tough. Like N2 is about 1,000 characters, like kanji, and N1 is 2,000 characters, so you'll know twice as much. And probably a lot of the biochem or higher level education terms are going to use more complicated kanji. So, you know, even as a native, you know, these kind of courses are challenging, right? Because you're probably learning the content at the same time you're trying to like do it in another language. So really, for sure, you want to try to minimize the barrier with the other language. So I'd go for N1 if you can, but from N2 you could challenge it, and it'll just be a bigger struggle. But like if you stick to it, your Japanese is probably gonna get very good, but it'll freaking suck. That's my prediction. Yeah, but it's like, you know, boot camp. Like you will live or die, sink or swim. Like you gotta learn the Japanese, and it'll get very good very fast, but it'll be very painful, probably. I don't know. Have you seen Matcha Samurai attempt N2? Did he try N2? Yeah, he's like what? He's like Japanese, but born and raised in like the UK or something. It sounds like he has a British accent or something. But I'm guessing like he spoke Japanese growing up through his family then. And I did not see him attempt N2. Did he try it? Was it a struggle? Because Japanese natives would not struggle with N2 for sure. So if he did struggle with it, it's probably just like a difference between like growing up and living in Japan. Although, I mean, I have no idea what his background was growing up. But he seems fluent in Japanese, so I'd be surprised if he was struggling with N2. One of the best things I've learned when speaking Japanese is being able to describe a word I don't know with simple words when speaking to like my Japanese sensei or friends that can speak Japanese. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge skill to have. Like you really, like we were talking about, like you have to be able to fudge it because you won't always have the word come to mind. Even in English, like sometimes I'll forget like what the word I want to say is, and you just kind of have to explain it or like work around it. And you'll just have to do that more in Japanese because more often than not, or more often than in English, you'll have words that you don't know. So you'll have to find workarounds, and you'll get very good at that as you get used to it. And it'll also help with your fluency because you'll be able to just like keep moving, you know? Oyasumi nasai. I don't know if my question went through, but I'll watch the VOD on the stream later. Have a good stream. Oyasumi nasai. Thank you, Shy Joker. Appreciate you dropping by. And thank you for gifting the membership as well. Have a good night, and I will see you when you're watching this vid. Or VOD, I should say. Okay. Next question. So, hey, Toku. First of all, you are an inspiration. Well, thank you so much. I learned hiragana and katakana, but I'm having a hard time understanding Genki 1 because the explanation is, at least for me, not easy to understand. So I'm not only trying to learn Japanese, but also what Genki is trying to say to me. Do you have any idea what I could do? Maybe I could ask KI, but I'm not sure if I should trust it. KI, I'm not sure if you meant AI, but I'm not sure. K and A are pretty far on the keyboard. I was just checking. But yeah, this is a Japanese language related question. So I'll probably just try to answer this one quickly, and so we can answer more life in Japan related questions. But first of all, congrats on learning hiragana and katakana. And if you don't understand a explanation in a textbook, I would say read it in the textbook first, as you probably did, and then look it up on YouTube. Look up the grammar lesson on YouTube, and it'll probably help you to have it explained in another way and with visuals. And it'll just be another way that you can help understand it. And it'll also be spoken to you, which I personally find easier to pick up grammar that way. So yeah, like use the I would still use the textbook as like, say, like your guide on like what to study and what to do next. And then after that. And if there's a concept you don't understand, look it up on YouTube. There's tons of explanations online. So that would be my advice. Yeah. All right, let's try to get back to a Japanese language related question, but thank you for saying I'm an inspiration. I really appreciate that. Definitely, it's possible to get fluent in Japanese, you know, whatever your background is, because I only spoke English growing up and I started learning Japanese when I was an adult. So no advantage for me. So it is possible. It just takes a lot of time and dedication, and it's a very rewarding experience. So I really recommend it if you're interested in the language. I think I probably need to refresh my inbox because there's probably still a lot of Japanese language questions from before. So I'll just refresh that. Good question. So do I still think in English, or has it changed to Japanese? I still, yeah, I still think in English vast majority of the time, like 90 to 95% of the time. It's just like, it's my native language. It's the one language I spoke for my entire life till I was 18. And then I started studying Japanese. But even when you're starting studying Japanese, you're nowhere close to being able to think in Japanese, right? Like you want your thoughts to be like immediate and natural. So then you have to add like the several years it took for me to become a little bit more natural and comfortable with Japanese to even be considering using it as thinking. So then, like, you know, say 25 or whatever onwards. So yeah, most of my thinking is still in English, 100%, but I am trying to think more in Japanese. Like I'm trying to speak, even when I'm just like talking to myself or brainstorming, I make a conscious effort to use more Japanese. And I think that helps make it feel more natural. That's why sometimes I will think in Japanese before I think in English, which is like a very rewarding feeling. But it's still, of course, like English is my native language, and it was for a very long time, like the only language I spoke. So I think inevitably I've just predominantly think in English. But yeah, consciously I'm trying to increase, I guess, the ratio that I think in Japanese so it can come more naturally to me. But that's probably the case for most people, and it just depends how hard you want to really like focus on the Japanese and make it your default language almost. But it'll take time. Fun question though. Yeah, it's such a milestone when you start dreaming in Japanese. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I'd still say most of my dreams are in English. I'd say most of them are in English, and then the occasional dream is in Japanese. But I think, yeah, that's also just like, again, like what I'm, I guess, using every day. I still use like English a lot of times, like when I'm making my videos or having these streams or talking to my like foreigner friends or my family back home. You know, I'm still using a lot of English, so it's still like very dominantly my thinking language. But if I'm like, say, like out with friends who are Japanese and I'm like speaking Japanese most of the day, then yeah, my brain will kind of switch to Japanese for a while. And then probably more likely a Japanese dream pops up that day. Yeah. And hi fam. Nice to see you out here in the chat. What is up? And Nuba says the person who asked the question must be German because in German AI means KI. That's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. I was like, how did you misspell AI with K? Because it's like they're like so far on the keyboard, like they're this far apart on the keyboard. But that makes a lot more sense. For me as a non-English native, it's really rewarding when I think in English and don't have to do it on purpose. Yeah, for sure. I think it's like that for any language. And I've heard my also other non-English native friends say the same thing. Like when they first started to dream in English, it was just like a huge like moment for them. I'm under N5 and once dreamed in Japanese, but funny thing, I woke up and understood every single thing in it. That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Even at N5. Yeah, I mean, since I guess your thoughts are the one generating it, I guess you kind of understood what the intention was behind the Japanese sounds that were coming out. So maybe that was why you could still understand it. But that's epic. All right. Let's try to find our next question. Trying to find where I was. Okay, this is an interesting one. Your honest opinion about Japanese street interviews. Yeah. I mean, my honest opinion about Japanese street interviews is they're fine. Like, if you enjoy doing the street interviews, you should do them. I think, yeah, a lot of people, like, maybe a lot of people tend to use it as easy content. But I mean, others use it as like legitimate, insightful content as well. Like, I really like Takashi's videos. I like Takashi's videos because he interviews people on the streets. Like, sometimes he'll reach out to people specifically to ask them questions, and he reached out to me. But he'll also interview people on the street, and he'll ask like, hey, like, so if you're usually asking Japanese people, although also a lot of foreigners too, I guess. So Japanese or foreigners in Japan, and ask like, hey, what are your thoughts on this part of society or about the Japanese language? And it's insightful. Like, you get to hear thoughts from people you wouldn't get to talk to normally. Like, especially if you live outside of Japan, like, it's very hard to get to hear those raw thoughts from Japanese people or from foreigners living in Japan. So I think street interviews are great for that. I think it's kind of maybe devolved a little bit. Like, you see a lot of like the street interviews about like weird people in Shibuya, or just kind of like meme questions or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you're just having fun, and as long as the person being interviewed is having fun too, it's like it's a win-win, right? The interviewer is having fun, the interviewee is having fun, the viewers are having fun watching it. Yeah, what's wrong with that? If you're trying to like farm content and get people to say stuff, then yeah, maybe it's a little bit cringy, and you don't want to like intrude on people, especially in Japan. Like, you don't want to like it's okay to ask people like, would you be okay for an interview? But if they say no, then yeah, just let them go. But yeah, try not to make them too uncomfortable if they say yes, and ask them really weird questions. But I haven't really seen that too much before. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, if you enjoy them, you should do them. There's nothing wrong with it. I think just be aware, like, with the difference between like educational interviews and just like entertainment interviews, because there's a difference for sure. And you should know what your goal is of watching it, I suppose. And very boring name. I like Kyle's interview videos. Yeah, where he says, like, I'm interviewing or like approaching people in Japan until I become fluent in Japanese. Yeah, very cool concept, and it seems like he has a lot of wholesome interactions. So I think that's great. And I think, like, from what I've seen on the videos, like, the Japanese people also love those interactions too. So it's just a win-win. He gets to practice his Japanese and makes content. The Japanese person being approached, when they say yes, they seem to like it as well, and then the viewers enjoy it too. Like, win-win-win. Yeah, that's great. Street interviews can be interesting. I think it really shows how diverse the thinking can be within Japanese within people in Japan, but it also is good to critically think about their answers to get their perspective. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is very diverse, even in Japan. I remember there's a more controversial one that Takashi had done before, and it was like, you know, cheating in Japan is like what is considered cheating, and like a lot of people were saying like, oh, like you know, my partner can have sex and it's just like whatever, or like as long as it's paid, if he's paying to have sex, it's not cheating, as long as it's not like emotionally cheating. It's like. Or there was just like, you know, I don't want my partner to cheat in any way, you know. And it was very interesting hearing those diverse opinions for sure. So yeah, for sure, there is a diverse range of thinking of people in Japan, and yeah, it is interesting to get their perspective when you think about it, for sure. So I think these interviews can be beneficial, but there is definitely, I think, a strong difference between interviews for education and interviews for entertainment. And I think a lot of it has turned into entertainment lately. So just be aware that if you're watching the kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say brain rot ones, but just like kind of meme for fun ones, then, you know, it's meme for fun, you know, that's what it is. Yeah, you watched that one too, Blue? Yeah, 100%. The comments were like, whoa, I did not think Japanese people thought like this. Yeah, it's interesting, right? So your favorite place to hang out in Tokyo? In Tokyo, so I live in Osaka. So when I go to Tokyo, I'm always there to travel, usually just visiting friends or maybe for work in Tokyo. So, favorite place to hang out. I went to Tokyo about 2 months ago with my best bud from Canada, and we did a lot of shopping. I'm not usually a big shopper, but my friend's a big shopper and he's really good with fashion, so I'm like, yo, I'm going with you and you're helping me choose some clothing. And we went to Shibuya because that's pretty famous for shopping, right? Shibuya, if you've ever seen like Shibuya 501, I think is what it is. Shibuya, it's like 501. Yeah, I think. I don't know why it's not showing on Google though. It's like 701. I have no idea what the number is. Maybe if I write it in Japanese, Shibuya. But anyways, whether we can find it or not, like there's a very, very famous shopping mall in Shibuya. Like, I think it's 501, maybe it's 701, it's maybe 301. Who knows what the number is, but very famous for shopping. We went there, absolute bust. Like, first of all, like, I think if you're a woman, there's a lot of shopping options in Shibuya, but as like men, there was so little. Like, there was like some anime stores, some grunge, like goth punk stores, and then that was it. And there was like no like just casual street Japanese clothing. And it's like, what? This is Shibuya. So that was a bit of a flop for men's shopping. So then we went to, where was it? Shinjuku. Shinjuku had the best shopping. I don't know, like, I mean, hanging out, I'm not sure, but Shinjuku for shopping, for men's shopping, yeah. And it was Lumine. There's like four different Lumines in Shinjuku. Like there's Lumine Shinjuku 1. Oh, sorry, this is on the small screen here, but there's Lumine Shinjuku 1, 2, 3, and like Est. It's kind of small here still, but yeah, these actually had good shopping for men, so that was base. So Tokyo shopping favorite place was Shinjuku, just for hanging out. I don't know if I have a favorite go-to spot. I really like going to the parks though. I really like going to the parks in Tokyo because we don't have a lot of those in Osaka, unfortunately. That's the one thing that I will admit Tokyo is better than Osaka for, is they have a lot more parks, like Ueno Park, or there's one I really liked as well, but we went to so many because it was Sakura season. I can't remember them all, but that's all I got for you. Hey, yes, Jujutsu Kaisen reference, like for sure. Like even that, like Shibuya, I think it's 501, but it's not showing up, so maybe it's something else. But it's in Jujutsu Kaisen as well. I think they changed the number, so it's like Shibuya 601 or something like that. Ichimaru, is it? Maybe Ichimaru? Maybe it starts with 105. It's gonna bother me forever. 105. Oh, it's 109. That's what it is. So I got it backwards and the number was wrong. So it's Shibuya Ichimaru 109. So that's the famous one. It's this like cylindrical building that you've probably seen in Jujutsu Kaisen or like literally any show that shows Shibuya. It's like the monument of Shibuya, but ass for men's clothing shopping. It was not good. No, I think it's only female clothing, and then there's like a chain building that's like a block down for men, and it was ass. 109. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And Nora says she likes Shimokitazawa. Lots of cafes and thrift shops. Yeah, Shimokitazawa is very famous for thrift shopping. It's like the Amemura of Tokyo. So Amemura is like the equivalent in Osaka, thrifting and lots of cafes, young punk culture, fashion, etc. Yeah, Shimokitazawa definitely would be worth checking out if you're into that kind of scene. Yeah, is that question made easier for us to stalk you? Well, I mean, it's favorite place in Tokyo, and I don't go to Tokyo that often, so I'd say I'm pretty safe. And I didn't even say like a specific cafe. then maybe I could get stalked pretty easily. Yeah, but if you bump into me in Lumiere for shopping when I go there next, like honestly, you win. Fair enough. Like you just beat the odds. I just happened to be there whenever you were there. And what is up, Mikey? I even subscribed to you 3 years ago and I like your content. Thank you so much. And Study Sia, old subscriber, appreciate it. I'm good. To the next question. This is a really good question. So how did my family react when I told them I wanted to learn Japanese? As like a Canadian who only spoke English growing up from like 0 to 18 years old, and I was like, I want to learn Japanese. How did they react? First of all, like my background is like I'm half white, half Asian. I'm technically half British, half Chinese Malaysian, right? So my dad is Chinese Malaysian, my mom's British technically, but born and raised in Canada. And when I said I wanted to learn Japanese, well, first of all, I didn't like proclaim I wanted to learn it, because like saying I want to learn Japanese is just not my style. I just freaking do it. And like, I don't want people to find out until I'm like really good at it. But obviously it takes a long time. So I wasn't that good at it, I guess, by the time I figured it out. But I remember going to my dad's friend's house, like family friend, and we're having dinner. Like the friend is Chinese, you know, my dad is like Chinese background, born and raised in Malaysia. And I remember my dad, love him to bits, by the way, but sometimes he was the worst fucking person in the world. He was telling my friend, like as a joke, oh, like my son, oh, he's just a confused Chinese. Like he's learning Japanese, oh, he's just a confused little Chinese. And I was just like, I hate you so much. Like, it's your fault that you didn't like speak to me in Chinese growing up. So that's why like I know 0 Chinese and I know 0 Japanese. And I happen to be more interested in Japanese, so I'm going to learn Japanese instead. So that's on you, okay? So that was like a little jab that like my dad threw at me. And I think anyone who has an Asian father could probably relate to a little bit. But on the other hand, my mom, very supportive, just like, yeah, do what you want. Like she loves traveling. So the fact that I wanted to learn Japanese and travel to Japan, she was just like, oh, he's getting out of the house. Let's do it. Like, I love it. He's traveling. So she was always supportive. And to give my father props, like, yeah, he like threw jabs at me once in a while. That's just like who he is. But I do know, not directly from him most of the time, but like from his friends, that like he was actually like proud of me that I became fluent in Japanese from self-studying and got a job in Japan. And like, his friends would tell me like, yeah, like your dad like always like gasses you up, you know, when we're hanging out. Like you'd think that you could walk on water. Like he's always talking about like, oh yeah, my son like self-studied Japanese to fluency and he got a job in Japan. So like, you know, he was like low-key proud of me, but I think just the Asian father genes in him made him have to throw like jabs at me once in a while. But I mean, that's what it is. Like when you learn a weird low-key language like Japanese, you know, it's a little bit awkward because people are just being like, oh, you just love anime, or oh, you're just a freaking weeb. But like, you know, who cares? Like whatever your reason for learning, whether it is anime or like you like karate or like just traveling to Japan, or you just like how it sounds, study it for you. Like you don't need other people to agree with you. You don't need other people's like confirmation that you should learn it, even your parents. You know, just if it's something you're passionate about, freaking do it. Like learning Japanese was the best decision of my life. Like I can say that with full confidence. The best thing I ever did in my life was learning Japanese. It's like I'm finally bilingual. I've been monolingual my whole life. I always loved the idea of being able to switch languages. So I'm finally bilingual. I've gotten a job here. I've moved here, permanent residence. I now make content about Japan and Japanese, and I'm able to teach others and connect with you guys. And I've made lots of Japanese friends, and I've made lots of foreigner friends because we're both into Japanese. And like, it's just like incredible how much my life has changed from learning Japanese. And if I like let what my dad say bother me and it's like, hey, fine, I'll give up Japanese and start learning Chinese or whatever, I would have regretted it for the rest of my life. So yeah, that's how they reacted. And you just got to do what you got to do.トックン、ご誕生日教えてくれない？先月だった。先月でした。And I think it should be お誕生日 with an O. Because Japanese people usually say お誕生日おめでとう. Like happy birthday. But yes, my birthday was last month in May. So, boom, boom. Happy birthday to me. Belated. And yeah, Nora, that's such a dad thing to say. Yeah, maybe your non-Asian dad says it too. Maybe it is just a universal dad thing. Sometimes they just feel the urge to throw jabs, and just who they are, they keep you on your toes. And Neo, yeah, that's an Asian dad thing to say. And no, I appreciate you. Yeah, please put questions in the chat. And very sweet. Yeah, thank you. Very boring name. Maybe the third shirt with my question. Jabbing comes first, flexing after. So relatable. I know. I don't know why parents do that, bro. Like my mom doesn't do that, but my dad for sure. Jabbing first and then like gassing you up in private. They like make fun of you when you're there and they gas you up when you're not there. I don't know why. My dad was definitely just super, I wouldn't say like shy, but like, you know, not great with expressing his feelings. Probably like classic dads in general. So that's probably why they feel the urge to kind of like, you know, poke at you when you're there. But, you know, usually in private, they're actually proud of you. So that's just how it is. And I guess it helps you grow and overcome that adversity. I'm glad your mom was supportive. My mom was the same too, probably because my older brother actually studied Japanese too. So she was probably like, I've been through this before. That's great too. I mean, it's awesome having older siblings who've already done it and kind of like broken in whatever that mold is. So yeah, there's no like, oh my God, like, why are you learning Japanese out of the blue? It's like, oh yeah, your brother did it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You're interested in it too. So yeah, that is very nice having older siblings who kind of like blaze that trail. So blessed. I'm glad to hear your mom was supportive as well. Lol, when I told my friends, almost the whole class started learning Japanese. That's awesome. That's awesome that you said that you're learning Japanese, and rather than making fun of you or just like being like, oh, cool, they started learning too. That's amazing. Your class is goated. And yeah, having that pure passion for Japanese in Japan is the key to keeping going for sure. Your dad is tsundere. Vader, what is up? Thanks for being here, man. Love seeing you. And yeah, my dad for sure was a 1000% tsundere. And you know, that's, I guess, the classic dad energy, and especially Asian dads. So what are you going to do about it? You hate them and you love them. So that's what it is. That's hilarious. Rip Rover, I first started learning Japanese when I was 11. My parents stopped me from watching anime for 2 years. Now I'll finish my last year of high school. Once I'm done, I'll start learning Japanese, applied for MEXT. My father encourages me to do so, and he started learning Chinese. I don't know why. I don't know. People do this. I don't know why parents are so like silly in their ways. So yeah, maybe they just wanted you to focus on your actual studies, you know, in school, and they didn't want you to look too much into Japanese when you should be like learning math and like basic English and stuff. So, you know, maybe. I mean, I'm not a parent. I'm sure they had their reasonings, but that's awesome that now you're getting close to the end of high school and you're gonna pick it up again and maybe watch some more anime, catch up on what you missed. And it's really cool that your dad is learning Chinese. So, you know, maybe it was low-key your influence. He's like, oh, maybe I could learn an Asian language too. So there you go. You're a trailblazer. I'm doing a cake for Father's Day right now. Remember, your dad is now in a good place. Thank you, Nubis. I appreciate it. And that's amazing that you're baking a cake for your father. Your father is a lucky man. May we move on to more of the questions? Of course, we can. And Spacious Traveler, yes, new haircut. Thank you for noticing. I'm trying to grow it out more. Let me increase the size of the camera so you can fully appreciate my haircut. We're just growing it out. I think I'm growing out maybe a little bit more, just more anime, fun look to it. I've been rocking the short hair for a while, so thought I'd change it up. And let's see. As someone who came from the West, how affordable, expensive is Japan to live in? Maybe you could discuss the different areas and which ones to avoid. So I would say cost of living in Japan is significantly cheaper than the West. Significantly cheaper. People used to have a mentality that Japan was like the expensive part of Asia, probably from like the 80s boom. And even now, yeah, if you compare it to like say Thailand or like Vietnam, it is more expensive for sure. But I'd say like, for example, buying food here, it's like, I'd say it's almost half the price as buying in Canada. And Canada is probably representative of maybe America and maybe other parts of the West as well. I can't say for sure. Although I do have family living in the UK, so I know their groceries are very expensive. And if you consider the conversion as well, like if you're coming as a foreigner with foreigner money, oh my God, it's going to be so cheap. Like the prices of groceries for sure will be half, maybe even less with your favorable currency conversion. And then in terms of rent, like actual housing and living, I would say rent is roughly 30 to 40% cheaper in Japan, maybe even 50%. Like I live in Osaka, which is a big city, 4 million people, and a comparable city in Canada would be Toronto. No Tokyo in Canada. So I live in Osaka, and a comparable city in Canada is Toronto. And I remember like I was talking to my friends who were visiting from Canada, like, oh, your place is so nice. Oh, it's like at the time it was like a 2-bedroom, and they're like, oh, how much are you paying for it? And I was like, I think like if I convert it to Canadian, it's roughly like maybe like $1,500. And they're like, $1,500? Like I'm paying like twice that, and it's like the same size, and I'm sharing it with somebody. So I mean prices in Toronto are pretty expensive, to be fair, but I mean then so should those prices as well in Osaka, but it's just a lot cheaper. So yeah, cost of living for food, rent is cheaper. You know, what else do you have? Like I guess the drawback is that salaries are also cheaper in Japan. Like I think in the West, you can often, like nowadays, a lot of people are making 6-figure salaries. And even like say a solid like 60, 80,000 and then 100,000 plus whatever. But in Japan, you don't see it that often unless you're like in the company for a very long time and you're very senior, then you'll get 80,000 or more. So salaries tend to be cheaper. So that's the caveat, but cost of living, it's a lot more reasonable. And if you're coming as a foreigner and you have all that foreign cash coming over and you're just going to convert it, you will be caking. Everything is going to be on discount. So it's an advantage. And different areas to avoid. I mean, Tokyo is going to be the most expensive. Like, if you want to live cheaply, do not live in Tokyo, or be willing to live in a shoebox for your life or forever long you want to be there. Like Tokyo, like Osaka, big city, Tokyo, mega city. I would say, even though they're both big cities, just because Tokyo is Tokyo, you're going to be paying 1.5 to 2 times the amount for rent. 1.5 to 2 times for the same size and quality of apartment. So if you want to live cheaply, even if you want to live in a city, you got to move out, go away from Tokyo. You go away from Tokyo. You got Osaka, you go Fukuoka, you go Sapporo, maybe even Sendai. Like even the big cities like Yokohama around Tokyo, it's still going to be very expensive because you're close to Tokyo. So yeah, if you're trying to save money, not Tokyo. If you want to save even more money, you can go to a small town and it is dirt cheap. I remember my friend, like, because the rural areas are losing population because of the aging population and all the young people are going to the big cities, like the rent is so cheap because they want people to move there. My friend lived there for, I kid you not, 10,000 yen a month, the equivalent of 100 Canadian dollars a month to live in a rural city. Like, that's ridiculous. It was, I think, only like a 1-year contract, and then you have to like re-sign, and then it goes up to 300 Canadian dollars. Whoa. But like, that was a standalone detached house for $300 regularly, discounted to $100. Like, where are you going to find that anywhere else in the West, unless you live in like a shed in the rural parts of who knows where? So yeah, that would be my advice. Pretty sure Hokkaido is a great place to live and it's cheap. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be cheaper than Tokyo, like not comparable. And if you're okay with the cold, like if you're Canadian like me, not that I love the cold, but yeah, Hokkaido is a great place. Great food, great snow sports, great vibe. And Sapporo is like a lot of fun as well. And it's going to be a lot cheaper than Tokyo for sure. For sure, for sure. Is it true that veggies are expensive than non-vegetables? So are vegetables. So I would say vegetables are not expensive in Japan. The only thing that's expensive are the fruit. All right. So bananas still very cheap. Bananas are cheap wherever you go. They're just magical like that. But admittedly, yeah, a lot of fruit is expensive, like strawberries, grapes, even watermelon. It's just expensive here. Like, I don't know why. I think they just grow a lot of their own fruit here. And the Japanese fruit are grown with such care that they're like almost like premium products. So they're just gonna cost more. And they have the real premium stuff where you're paying like $80 for a mango, which my friend bought me for my birthday, which was amazing. Thank you. Shout outs to my boy Michael. That was a fantastic oral experience. In no erotic, dirty sense of the word. It was just a full-on amazing mouth experience that I would recommend everyone to try, but not everyone can afford $80 for a mango. So there is that premium primo fruit category, but even just like the regular commoner fruit, it's going to be more expensive than the West. Like, you're just going to pay a bit more for the grapes and the watermelon and the strawberries and the blueberries. That's just how it is. But I'd say that's the one exception that I can think of. Yes, and just Jujutsu Kaisen is your favorite anime with the phone protector with Juju Itadori. Yes. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say like absolute favorite, but Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favorites for sure. And yeah, we got my boy freaking Sukuna / Itadori on there. Good observation. What do I think of Kyoto? Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's a lot of foreigners there, like a lot of tourists. So it is a little bit overrun with tourists. Like, you can't really use the public transport, like the public buses in Kyoto, because it's just all tourists. And that is a bit of a problem with the over tourism. But the city itself is great. I love Kyoto. It's cheaper than, you know, Tokyo by a lot. It's a little bit smaller. I think the population is around like 700,000. So it's like a medium-sized city. It won't have as much things to do as Osaka or Tokyo, but you know, it's still a fairly sized city and there's things to do. That's what I would say. And of course, lots of cultural things and places to explore. And the fruit there looks so perfect. Yeah, it's a freaking art over here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if all the ingredients of the burger are healthy. How does that make the whole burger unhealthy? Well, 100% pure beef patty is still beef. And I mean, not that beef is automatically unhealthy, but it does have a lot of fat. So you shouldn't eat too much of it if you're trying to look out for your saturated fats and whatnot. And I love strawberries so much, so it's so painful for them to be expensive in Japan. I know. Yeah, I also love strawberries. I have them almost every morning, you know, on top of my cereal and granola. It is a pain to the wallet to buy them, but I also love my strawberries. Yeah, and they have white strawberries in Japan too, fun fact. So yeah, I forget what region they're from, but if you like strawberries, you should maybe check those out and give them a try. See what you think. And I can't eat any strawberries after my Tokyo trip. They're just so much better over there. Yeah, I know. Their fruit game over here is insane. And yeah, Mikey, what's up? Read my chat once. I'm reading your chat. There you go. How do you get to Japan? Did it take a long time? I have a video on how I moved to Japan, so be sure to check it out. So. And okay. Yeah, I will try to get through a couple more questions here. Okay. How does Japan's workforce import policy, like importing workers from other nations, affects the culture and social connections? Workforce import policy. Okay, I see what you're saying. So there are policy on hiring foreign workers. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert on workforce immigration. Yeah. I'm really not an expert. But I do know that they do import a lot of workforce. And you can see it a lot with, like, say, construction. I see a lot of foreigners working construction, or they work a lot of factory jobs as well. So I think if you want to work manual labor, then it is easy to come into Japan even without Japanese language per se. I'm just guessing. I'm really not an expert, but I think it's easier to come in as a temporary worker for manual labor. But if you want to come here as a, say, office worker, the Japanese government, I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Japanese government just recently updated their visa requirements that if you're coming to Japan on a humanities, engineering, etc. working visa that requires Japanese, if your job requires Japanese, you must have N2. You need to have JLPT level N2. And they've just made that a policy this year as of April, 2 months ago. So you're going to need to know Japanese if you want to work a high level job in Japan, like legally. For a lot of jobs, you're going to need to know Japanese. And how does it affect the culture and social connections? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think if you speak Japanese, then you are more equipped to interact with Japanese people. So you'll slowly pick up the culture more. You'll make Japanese friends. You'll be more involved in the community. So it won't really negatively affect culture in any way. You'll just, you'll melt right in, and you'll be able to probably express your uniquenesses of your culture as well in like a very appropriate, way of almost like cultural exchange. I think other maybe issues with immigration with like culture and social connections is if people like don't learn the language and they have no interest in learning it, and they don't really have interest in the Japanese culture, then it's kind of negative, because then there's just like a group of people who like are in Japan but don't really connect with the community. So that's not always great, I think, for any country. But I can't speak specifically about Japan because I'm not sure any specific statistics on it. Yeah, but I think I went to a meetup yesterday, and unfortunately I did see a foreigner like just freaking throw his trash on the ground, and I was like, oh my god, dude, it's like why are you in Japan right now, bro? Like, this is the cleanest country ever. Like, you should not be like throwing litter out like in any country, but like especially in Japan. It's like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? And that negatively affects the culture because it's such a clean city. But if you have a lot of people like that who don't respect the culture or want to learn the language, then, you know, the city becomes dirtier, and then Japanese people's image of foreigners goes down, and that's just negative for all of us. So yeah, at the end of the day, learn the language, respect the culture, and, you know, try to be a positive influence on the culture. Share your culture and respect their culture. Win-win. Yeah. So did the point system and getting PR change with the recent changes? Was there something about that? I think there actually was something that changed with getting PR requirements as well. What was it? I think you have to... So normally for PR, it doesn't matter how you're in the country. As long as you have enough points, then you're good to go. But I think there was a rule recently that you have to be on at least a 3-year work visa. Maybe it was even 5-year work visa. I'm not sure what it is. So visa requirements for highly skilled professional PR in Japan. Yeah. I mean, freaking Gemini AI doesn't seem to come up with anything about that in particular. It's just about the point system. So I'm not sure. I heard something maybe worth looking up. Do you need to have a 3-year or more work visa? Wolfie says 5 years. Yes, you currently need to hold a 3-year or 5-year visa at the exact time you submit your permanent residency application. Even if you qualify for the ultra-fast 1-year PR track, you cannot apply if your physical visa only grants you 1-year period of stay. So there you go. I mean, this is like AI, so like, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Oh, here we go. Here we go, though. Upcoming policy tightening, April 2027. And let me give you guys a bigger screen. So Japanese immigration law states that PR applicants must hold the longest period of stay allowed for their current visa category. So if you're in the engineer, specialist, and humanities for the highly skilled professional visa, the maximum legally defined durations are 3 or 5 years. Currently, immigration treats 3 years as fulfilling the longest period. Yeah, okay. But then upcoming policy change. So starting April 2027, a 3-year visa will no longer be sufficient. Applicants will strictly be required to hold a 5-year visa to apply for PR. So there you go. There you go. That's how it is. 5 years. Yeah, that seems strict. I wonder if jobs will start handing out more 5-year visas then. Because I remember mine was only a 3-year visa. But I mean, my contract was for 3 years, and then it's like a re-signing. So I'm not sure what most people would be if they came here on like a, say like a highly skilled job. Maybe they would give you a 5-year visa right away. Not sure. Yeah, and those kind of moments make me feel embarrassed to be a foreigner in Japan. I know, Aurora. I know. When I see foreigners like littering or not obeying the rules, it's just, yeah, pain. Pain. I should probably be more like outgoing and be like, yo, please stop that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are just like who they are, but doesn't mean we shouldn't try to let them know. And Jonathan Japan, thank you for becoming a Sakura supporter. Welcome to the group and enjoy your emotes. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. All right. We're getting close to the end of the stream, so we can chill and chat for a little bit. I could try answering one more question if there's one in here. Okay. We'll squeeze one more in here. So, hey Toku, you are a big inspiration. Back out here with the inspiration. I appreciate it. Do you do any sports activities in Japan? If so, any recommendations or places? Yeah, so one sport that I really picked up when I moved to Japan was tennis. Yeah, Japanese people, I don't know. I didn't know it, but Japanese people like tennis. I don't know why. Like everyone at my workplace played tennis. And I'm like, okay, like I'm a badminton player and I played like tennis on the side. Like they're both racket sports, but I was more comfortable with badminton. But like all my coworkers freaking played tennis and they invite me out to tennis. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll start playing tennis then. So yeah, I just started playing a lot of tennis with my coworkers. And even now that I'm like freelance, I'm doing the content creation full time. Like I'll still play tennis with them. And that's kind of like how we keep up on like a semi regular basis. So yeah, if you play sports, I think that's a great way to meet Japanese people and like connect with them better. I think tennis is good. Soccer is very popular. You all know baseball is huge here. So if you play baseball, soccer, tennis, you'll find lots of people. Even badminton, like I'm a badminton player and I did find people at my work who play badminton. And like one of my best mates from my work plays badminton and we just played a couple of weeks ago. And he also got me a badminton racket for my birthday, which was so kind. I was freaking touched as heck. And even got like the case with like my name on it. I'm like, bro, why, what have I done to deserve this? But yeah, he's a homie straight up. Shout outs to him. But yeah, we play badminton as well. So yeah, if you play badminton, tennis, soccer, baseball, probably even basketball's out here, volleyball. So a lot of these sports, if you look on Meetup, the app or website, you can find a lot of Meetup events where they're playing these sports. These are probably the main ones you'll find, but there are probably some other ones that you can find. I think there's some like pickleball here and there. Maybe, some other low-key sports. Maybe some I'm just not remembering right now. But yeah, Osaka for sure has those meetups. Tokyo, I'm sure as well, has those meetups. And hopefully if you're in another big city, they'll have some. And if you're in a smaller town, they might not be advertised on meetups, but they'll usually have like local events. Like even in the small town I used to live in Shiga, 100,000 people population, I know there was like a volleyball team that was happening. And there was even a badminton event as well that I participated in. So, but they're just not put on Meetup specifically for foreigners or anything. So you just have to go around and like kind of look online, maybe ask people and like kind of find out that way. But yeah, sports can be a great way to meet people in Japan. So really recommend. And Aika, I love tennis and badminton. Ball knower out here. Let's go. I love to hear it. Yeah, racket sports. Underrated. Well, tennis isn't underrated. Tennis is a very international sport, but badminton very underrated in the West, in my opinion. So glad to see some other badminton lovers out here. Go badminton. Very boring name. You're on it too. Ball knower. Yeah. I grew up playing tennis and just started playing badminton at the start of last month. Oh no, that's awesome. Hope you're enjoying the badminton as well. And yeah, racket sports. I mean, totally different like weight in terms of the racket. So it feels weird at first. And badminton's more wrist, right? And tennis is more like full body arm. But yeah, it's usually a lot easier to transfer back and forth because you're more comfortable with a racket in your hand. Shohei Ohtani, the GOAT for sure. Yeah, literally the GOAT. Greatest of all time. I think most people consider him the greatest of all time now. So he's literally a god in Japan. So they love their baseball here. So if you are the greatest of all time at baseball and you're Japanese, you're a god here. So that's who Shohei Ohtani is. There you go. And have I tried jiu-jitsu or judo? So this is another one. So I haven't tried either of those. But another sport I started when moving to Japan is actually K1 kickboxing. And I didn't know this, but K1 kickboxing was started in Japan. Like you think, okay, kickboxing sounds like very like Western kind of stuff. Like karate, yeah, sure, that's Japanese, kung fu, Chinese. But kickboxing is actually Japanese as well. So I was looking for martial arts gyms in my area, and this K1 kickboxing gym was near my house at the time. And so I joined it, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're into martial arts or you're interested in it, try out K1 kickboxing as well in Japan, because this is the freaking origin. So there's going to be lots of gyms for it. And even, yeah, there's so many kickboxing gyms. Like not even just like there's like K1 brand of kickboxing, but they have like so many gyms here. And if you don't want to like do competitive or anything like that, I didn't do it competitively. But you know, you do like some like light spars and whatever. But they also have fitness kickboxing. Sorry, fitness kickboxing and fitness boxing with like the bags and stuff, and you're just doing the movements and the kicks and stuff. So that's another one I did. So yeah, that's another one you could check out if you're interested in martial arts in Japan. I managed to get badminton racket and case for $20 New Zealand dollar, so roughly 1864 in yen. That's crazy cheap. Yeah, let's freaking go. What's one thing you wish before you move that no one talked about? I think someone asked me that question last stream, that I wish I knew before making the move. I'd say maybe just that you need to go out of your way to make friends, because you know, when you're from like your native country, you don't need to go out of your way to make friends, because you probably grew up with a lot of people in like your school and maybe at your work and your family and your neighbors, all your old time friends. But when you move to a new country, you don't have any of that background, so it is a little bit more of a conscious effort to make friends. Especially when the culture and language is so different and you're already like a working person, then it's a little bit harder to naturally make friends. So you have to go out of your way and join meetups or go out and talk to people. I'd say that's one thing. And I'm in Canada right now. Let's go. We'd love to see it, Vish. Love to see some Canadians out here or people living in Canada, whichever it is. And always wear a mouth guard for sure, Tenacity. Yeah, I did kickboxing for a while without wearing a mouth guard, and some dude was just like an actually like Yankee, like a little bit of like a, you know, like hoodlum punk kind of guy, and he was just like going way too hard in the spars. And like he like caught me on my tooth. It didn't like chip my tooth, but I could like feel it was like sore for a while, and I was like, bruh, like you're not supposed to, like, we're not supposed to be hitting each other's faces in these spars. But yeah, ever since then, I like properly wore a mouth guard, and teeth are still okay. So for sure, wear a mouth guard when doing K1. And Anime Flow, I love ignoring you. I mean, I read whatever messages I can see. But I'm sorry if I ignored you. But sometimes it's gotta happen. I can't answer everybody. And maybe I do just secretly enjoy it. I'm sorry. I just get a bit of a high from ignoring you. I'm a freak like that. Yeah, but with that, it is 11:08. A little 8 minutes over our time, but I was having a lot of fun talking to you guys. But we are at the end of our time of stream number 9. The next one will be the big 1-0, stream 10. But we can start wrapping things up now. Thank you so much for watching the stream, guys. Whether you stayed for 2 minutes or the full 2 hours, appreciate you tuning in and supporting the channel. Whether you support it with gifted memberships or donations or just being active in the chat or even just watching or asking your questions, really appreciate it. It's really nice to be able to interact with you guys and have a conversation. And yeah, I'm working on my next video, so hopefully I can get that out for you guys as soon as possible. But probably be able to talk to you guys next stream before I uploaded it. So yeah, it'd be nice to chat. And it's always nice seeing your names. What is up, Benji? Nubis, Nora, the homies out here. What's my favorite anime? I don't know if I have a favorite, but favorites, Jujutsu Kaisen and Kaguya-sama are definitely up there. And then Attack on Titan. Those are probably like maybe a rough top 3 at the top of my head. Yeah. And thank you for the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so I'll do a proper sign off now. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks' time. But 2 weeks' time. I had an extra S there. But yeah, see you guys in 2 weeks' time. And until then, good luck with your studies and good luck with whatever maybe move you have to Japan or, you know, whatever else you're doing in your life right now. So wishing you guys the best, and Tokuyuu out.